take a moment just to notice the breath and just laying one hand on the heart and one hand on the belly, if appropriate, and just being present in this moment for 11 minutes, 11-minute wonder. Taking a breath together with intention, in and out. I had 2 C-sections when having both of my children, and for a few years afterwards, I would quite often get this writhing discomfort about the fact that I had been cut open. I don't know whether many of you will have had a cesarean who are listening, many won't. And basically, you are anaesthetized with an epidural. So you can't feel anything, any pain. You can't feel any pain, but you can feel the sensation. You can feel the sensation of being cut, and you can feel the sensation of movement inside the belly, hands inside the belly. And then there's quite a while afterwards where you're being dealt with afterwards, let's say. And you're awake. So you're conscious and you're awake. And there are many procedures now where you're awake and you're anaesthetized locally, as they say. So for a long time afterwards, particularly at night, particularly when I was resting, I would get these writhing, like my body would be writhing and squirming about the fact that I had been cut open and about the fact that this had happened to me. And, the almost the natural instinct was to push this feeling away, was to just deny it, to just completely go into denial about it and completely just push it away. And interestingly enough as well, and again, I don't know how common this is for people, it's not something I speak about with a lot of people, but the area itself, the scar, remained numb, completely numb, all the area around it, for years afterwards. And then a few years ago, my dad died, and he died of cancer. And, I'm sure many people will have had this experience of, death in its real, raw, suffering stage before the death. And I remember saying afterwards, I can deal with the fact that he's died, but I can't deal with how he died. How the pain, the physical, appearance of him, the suffering. And, obviously as in most of these things, you feel like you're really individual. And as it turns out, I've since read from, palliative care research, it's the most common thing that is said. We can deal with the passing of a loved one, but what we find really difficult is the trauma of the nitty-gritty, the physical suffering. And again, for a long time afterwards, it was that would wake me up in the night. It was that remembrance of physical aspects of the trauma of the dying, and not necessarily the fact that he'd passed over. It was the before. And recently I've had this real, I'm now in my 40s, and I've had this real relationship with nostalgia developing. And for good or for bad, this reliving, this really sensational, and I mean as in involving all of my senses, reliving of past selves, of past experiences. And again, I'm talking for good or for bad. And we all have these remembrances that come up that create a physical response for us. Doesn't have to be anything as traumatic as an operation or as the death of a loved one. But, these things happen to us all over time. When we remember something we said to an ex, or a time, when we were really young and we did something, or we caused a drama, and we can really squirm with the feeling of that. Or if we've been heartbroken, we can really push away those feelings that come with remembrance. And what happens when we do that is, in the system, in the physical system, and in the emotional, physical, and energetic body, what happens is when we push something away, anything we resist persists. Okay, you'll have heard that saying. What you resist persists. Anything we push away of our experience, it's like a pendulum situation. The more you push, the more it pings back, the greater the force when it comes back to us. And so if anything in your life that replays, any experience that replays, is replaying for you to integrate that experience in some way or another. Because everything we experience, and I would say especially the quote unquote bad or the quote unquote traumatic, everything we experience is deeply, deeply educational on every level, emotionally, physically, energetically. And so the way that I found, through discovering the cauldrons, through discovering my body as a portal, as several portals, but by discovering my body is a way for emotion. You've heard the body keeps the score, and it absolutely does. But it's also a way. It's a way to pass these things through yourself and to stop that level of resistance, to stop that resistance that then causes the persistence of the pain and the anguish of a situation and doesn't allow you to integrate the lessons of it. And a really simple way that was shown to me was to open like little taps on the bottom of your feet. And you do it with your imagination. And I just want you to do it now. I just want you to try it now. So on the soles of your feet, place them on the floor, and we're just going to imagine that there are little taps on the underside of them. And we're going to open them. And by opening these taps, these exits from the bodily system, we allow for an energetic exit hole from our system. And what I'd like you to do is, you don't have to think about anything particularly traumatic at this moment in time. But what I want you to do is just to practice allowing whatever's in the system, whatever's in the body that's not for us, not for our highest good in this moment, just allow it with the breath and the intention just to drain away out of these taps in the bottom of the feet. Drain away into the earth. And with an outward breath, just allowing and feeling whatever is not for you at this moment, just to drain away and melt away. out of these taps at the bottom of the feet. And just feel the lightness and space in the system by doing that. Now, the magical thing about the earth, when we allow things to drain away out of us into the earth, Gaia or Mother Nature or the earth herself, however you want to think of her, knows exactly how to transmute and transform everything into good. And that is a resource we have all the time. So on the next exhale, I just want you to allow all that to drain and just to close those taps back up. Now, when we feel the writhing, squirming sensation of something that maybe we're resisting, or a memory, or a remembrance, or an experience, can we try to open those taps and with the intention and the breath, allow that experience or the discomfort of that experience to drain away? Next time you have that kind of experience or that remembrance, give it a try and let me know if it worked out. Thank you for your time.